that's kind of what we're up against. And like we've played two of the guys that we're going to take have never played a proper game of touch.
Wow.
It's a really small sport. We only have one club in the entire Sweden. It started maybe 5 years ago, and now we're growing bigger and bigger. And some sessions this summer we were maybe 30 or 40 people.
Hey guys, Tom here with another around the world video. This time we are talking with Sweden Touch. A couple of gentlemen with me. We've got Hamish and Nick. How you going, guys?
How you going, Tom?
Good.
Yeah, I'm pretty good. So let's just start off. If you guys want to introduce yourself, just tell us a quick rundown of yourself, how you got involved with touch, and how you ended up where you are right now with Sweden Touch. Who wants to go first?
Sure, I'll jump in first, Hamish. My name is Nicholas Rabbidge. I'm the president of Touch Sweden. I have been living in Sweden for the last 11 years now. Originally from Australia. I'm a love refugee, like most of the expats here, I guess. My touch background, I played a bit of touch at school and then a bit of park touch, but no, nothing more than that until I came to Sweden and picked it up here. Then I've represented Sweden in the 2022 and 2023 Euros. Looking forward to the World Cup later on this year. Hamish?
Awesome.
Yeah, I am a Kiwi. Also a love refugee. Been here since 2013, but I have played touch. Obviously, been a Kiwi since we could walk. And kind of just kick-started with Antoine and Samir, who started it here in 2015. And we got to send a mixed team for the Euros in 2018. I was a part of. Played in 2022. At the Euros, and then had last year off so I could go all in for the World Cup this year.
Awesome. So what teams are you involved with at this year's World Cup?
So I'm representing I've been selected for the men's 40 team, and Hamish has been selected for the men's 30 team. So originally we had entered 3 teams, which is very exciting for us. We're not a massive pool of players here in Sweden, and to have 3 teams was a massive achievement. Fortunately, our mixed 30 team dropped out. So now it's just the men's 40 and men's 30 team that we will be sending.
It's still, I believe that's a huge achievement.
It's massive. Look, as Hamish said, we sent one team, a juniors team, in 2018 to the Youth Euros. Is that right, Hamish?
It was 19. We had the normal Euros we sent a mixed team,
yes.
Which was the first team. Oh, it must have been 2017 we sent the juniors because it was just before us. Oh
yeah.
And then we've been building ever since. And then that good old pandemic whacked it all back down to real life again. So we have about 80 players to choose from, I think, in total for all the divisions we have. And we've got 16 scrambled together for both men's and 30s and 40s.
Okay, well, so just scraping in, I guess. Hopefully no injuries between now, touch wood, no injuries between now and the trip to England. Okay, so with the World Cup, like the preparation and stuff like that, is there a central point in Sweden where I guess touch is at its largest, a place where you sort of get together and train, or is it sort of scattered? You do your sort of own thing. You might have a group living in a certain spot. How does the training work for the World Cup prep?
Good question. Where most of us are Stockholm-based or have been Stockholm-based. So our preparation and our build-up has been between Stockholm and Karlstad, which is a large regional city here. Not a town, sorry, Hamish. City here in Sweden, where Hamish is based. So most of our build-up's been in those 2 locations. And then our playing base is mainly those 2 areas, but we've got some others scattered around, as you say.
Okay. And so how often do you sort of get together? Do you try and get together sort of, some people do it monthly, fortnightly? Look, some
Yeah,
people,
so we've got
some
like
countries,
formal.
some countries have the luxury of doing it sort of once or twice a week if they're a small country.
Well, we have formal camps once a month,
Mhm.
where everybody, sort of expected to come and join us either in Karlstad or Stockholm. And then there's like weekly training for the people in Stockholm. So we try to get both squads together and just do some skills work once a week. And, Hamish does that down in Karlstad as well.
Yeah, awesome.
Our biggest issue is that we're not allowed on any grass until the 1st of May every year. So it's
Why's
rather hard
that?
to find fields. Just because of the snow and the cold, and we had minus 26
Oh,
over Christmas. So
that,
you just
I
yeah.
completely didn't think of that. How
So
cold it actually
that's the
gets in.
other
Yeah,
that's the
it's
other.
been painful.
It's
So,
it's something else. But so now we're kind of like little bears coming out of hibernation, and everyone's seeing the sun
Yeah.
and running to grab a rugby ball and stuff. And that's when we start seeing players. But it was like during the winter, it's like it's an indoor. Everyone put in to hire at an indoor field somewhere for 6 hours.
wow, an
So
indoor
that's
field.
something else that we never had to really deal with that we now deal with here.
Yeah.
Yeah,
It's
wow.
hilarious. We often play on snow and then on ice and try to get an indoor field when we
So
can.
the closest we get to snow, I've had one tournament in my time where technically it snowed, but the snow hit you and it melted straight away. It was like that needle snow. And inland, like when you go central Australia, you get frost on the ground in the morning. But that's gone very quickly and it gets really hot. But we've
That's
played
like
on,
luxury.
yeah, we've played on ice and we've played little bits of snow, but never anything like minus 26. I think our policy in Australia or in New South Wales anyway is anything below 8 degrees, the tournament can call it off. +8.
Really? Wow.
Oh, that's awesome.
Which is probably to you actually doesn't seem like that's cold.
Yeah, it's having quite a nice day actually.
Yeah.
Oh man, that's depressing to say that.
Yeah.
Yeah, I remember when in December I was just I need to go out and do something, and I did a bronco, but I did it in snow up to my knee.
Wow.
So it was just, well, I must love touch to do this absolute rubbish.
That's like I'm gonna go for a swim in a pool on a hot day, but I'm gonna wear all my clothes.
Exactly.
do some laps.
We definitely love the sport when we put in that sort of effort.
Yeah, definitely. Well, that just puts it into perspective. Actually, like you could use the term disadvantages, but I guess you just have to be creative and like renting the indoor places on how you get about your training during the cold season. Because like it's coming up to winter where we are now, and we're still going into our social competition on a Monday night. It might get to 10 at the very lowest, which I'm going to tell everyone next time we're complaining about our lungs hurting because it hurts to breathe because it's so cold. I'm going to say, look, mate, these people in Sweden I spoke to, it's negative 26 and they still do Broncos.
We'll send you a video.
See what they say.
We'll play the actual snow.
So just backpedaling a little bit, you talked about the Euros. I know I've recently come across the Euros just through the channel, but before making the YouTube channel, I had no idea they existed. Do you want to just give us a quick rundown of what like the European champs are?
Yeah, sure. I guess over this part of the world, they're probably the biggest. Since the pandemic, they've been once a year, just trying to catch up. So for competitive touch over here, it's been great. So we've had 22 in Nottingham, where we're going to be this year, and then 23 we're in the south of France in Vichy. I guess that's the south. And so it's for us, like Sweden, who we don't have that much high level competitive touch. It's been fantastic, and I guess all the countries would feel the same as well. Comparatively to the tournaments and the competitions in Australia and New Zealand, they're they are what they are. But for us, it's really important to have that sort of those sort of fixtures.
Actually, the footage that I've watched of the European champs, it's mainly just like all the grand finals, the main ones. But the two things that I really like about it is in Australia, you might have an elite game that is 2 points to 1, which is not a lot of highlights. It's a very defense-driven game.
Yeah, sure.
And we recently changed the rules. I don't know if it filtered to the rest of the world.
No, they're not. We don't use that.
Yeah, we literally had to change the rules because we wanted to see more tries. We wanted to have more highlights. So when you watch the European champs, there's a lot of points being scored. There's a lot of tries, and it makes it very exciting. It's a very attack-driven game. And the atmosphere, the amount of people that were around the field watching, was really cool.
It's also if you watch the English nationals were on this weekend, just gone, or maybe the weekend before, and I think it was very high scoring in their last game as well. And then you watch the Oz games, and it's very low. It's like super intense, but very low scoring.
Yeah. So speaking of the England nationals, I once again I was aware of that. You mentioned before this video started about a nationals being like you're hosting. Is it a national tournament in Sweden?
No, it's a friendly test match.
Friendly test match.
We're hosting Switzerland. So the Switzerland men's 30 team will come up and play our men's 30 team and our men's 40 team next weekend. And that's a huge achievement, mainly thanks to Hamish. He's definitely his enthusiasm has made that happen. So well done, Hamish.
Thanks, man. I was just like, well, we need more games. Like, it doesn't. This Euros is good, it's a good chance to play everyone. But then I was like, well, why can't we just take initiative and, expand the touch family and then talk to Germany, Luxembourg, little Kiwis spread everywhere, Switzerland and Holland. I met a couple of other Kiwis, so we just kept in contact. But 3 of those teams played in Belgium a couple of weeks ago, so it was only Swiss that could come here. But we're spreading out, going, putting them all up in accommodation and staying at players' houses and stuff, and then just playing them on a Saturday afternoon and having 3 games to kind of warm up.
That's awesome. That's really cool. Don't show them too much because I'm looking at the draw right now of the men's.
Yeah, they're in the same pool.
Sweden, and the next country listed is Switzerland.
Yeah, they're in our pool. So
yeah, they are in your pool. And it's funny. The last sort of one of these that I did today. It was earlier today. I actually spoke with the United States, and one of the guys on the chat is also playing in the men's 30s.
Oh, cool.
And I'll ask you the same. No, they're in your pool. They're in the pool A. And the question that I did ask him, I'll ask you the same question. So, Hamish, is there any team in particular that you're really looking forward to playing against? Unfortunately, you don't get to play against New Zealand.
Yeah, exactly. When I saw that, I was like, oh no. But obviously, like, playing Australia is going to be just seeing it firsthand is just. I might try and throw out if we get 5 points, maybe for a touchdown if we get one. But it's definitely that. And then if we can pick up 1 or 2 wins against like the lower tier 2 teams similar to us, that would be, that would be a success. But like the teams like Cook Islands, and I'm in old league tragic, so seeing that Brad Takarangi's playing and that sort of team. And
well, as far as I know, the Cook Islands are a Sydney-based team. I don't know much about the 30s, but I know the men's open team, a very young team. They're at a club called the Northern Beaches Renegades, so they're all a Cook Islands sort of family club. But if they all stick together, the Cook Islands will be a top 4 team at New Zealand World Cup. So there's a lot of good talent coming through that have Cook Island heritage. England, I imagine, would be very strong. They normally are up there. No idea about Luxembourg.
They're kind of on par with us. They're short numbers, sort of. That's the kind of tier 2, like Luxembourg, Spain, Switzerland, and Holland are kind of our level sort of thing.
Okay.
But Holland's not on ours, I think, from memory. I think it's in the other pool. But the Spain, Switzerland are the 2 we've circled. Well, me personally.
So, and Nick, you were playing 40s men's. I've just brought up the 40s men's draw. Where are we? Where am I looking? There, Sweden. Sorry, it took me a while to see because you're right at the end.
Yeah, we're very rare to find.
I was looking at Pool A for some reason. Is it? What about the same question for you, Nick? Is it like any team you're looking forward to playing against or associating with, or anything like
Yeah,
that?
it'd be good to play Oz for sure. Obviously, just for the experience of playing that sort of quality. In terms of our achievements, what we would like to aim to achieve is sort of same with Hamish. There's a couple of tier 2 sort of teams that we could be competitive with, like Portugal, I think, is in our pool, if I'm correct.
Yep.
And maybe China. And then I'm not too sure about the others, like what sort of team like Papua New Guinea and Fiji will field, for example. But, they probably have a bit deeper pool than we do.
China. So I'm actually with China Mixed Open for the World Cup.
Yes.
I'm coaching China Mixed Open. They actually don't have the 40s men's turned into a senior mixed.
Yes. Okay. I had heard something like that.
So they tried to get a 40s men's. They were very close. They probably had about a dozen players. So they used those 12 to end up putting it in the senior mix. That way the ladies didn't miss out as well if they went and pushed for a 40s men's. Yeah, cool. So Australia is a pretty common answer for teams. Depending if you're in New Zealand's pool, and it'll be New Zealand, but it's either one of those two.
Just would be wouldn't expect to play that sort of quality here. Those players.
Yeah, absolutely. And I don't know too much about the 40s team. I do know the 30s team. You've probably heard of the team, the Doyleson Dragons, if you've been following YouTube. Touch Footy and stuff. Well, the coach for the Doyleson Dragons is the coach for the 30s Australian team. So what you see in the Doyleson Dragons, that fast rucking is what you're going to come up against. It's not going to be super flash. There's not going to be any real trick plays. It's just going to be really consistent and really fast.
Yay.
But luckily, I can guarantee you, Australians, their training would not have included Broncos in the snow. So you're weighing up. You've got to one up on.
That's what we need to do. We just need to move the games a bit further north.
Yeah, or make it in the winter. in England. So you actually this isn't even a question, but you've mentioned that the Euros in 22 was at Nottingham. You said that's the same venue where the World Cup's going to be?
It is the same venues, yeah.
What did you think of it? Did you think it was
it's an amazing venue. Yeah, it really is. It's the organisation by English Touch is very, very well done, and I can see from what's happened so far that it's looking the same. I think the teams should be looking forward to being there.
Yeah, awesome.
The fields are immaculate, by the way, as well. So
that's good.
It's a place, really nice place.
Yeah, it definitely looked like really good fields. It looked like a well-run tournament, a Euro champ. So that's good. That's good news. Yeah, and look, the only negative thing I'm hearing about England is a lot of teams. It's just really hard to get to.
Yeah, it's really a lot of trains.
Yeah, expensive and travel time.
Yeah, expensive trains. The trains are like almost as expensive as our.
Yeah, and I know from where I am, Australia, I think it's almost like a 24-hour flight to get there. I think we've got to stop over somewhere, and it's going to be a big adjustment to the the jet lag and the climate and all that sort of stuff. So, are you guys heading over early at all? There's a few people that I've spoke to. They're going the week earlier to play some exhibition games.
Yeah, I think because you're just talking to the Americans, and I think they're going a week early, if I heard right.
Yep, that was one of them that did say that.
We will get the weekend before.
Mm-hmm. That's good. And look, everyone will be happy to play.
The 13th, and we're playing the 50 men's New Zealand in a warm-up game on the Sunday.
You'll be playing
the 30s.
I think you'll be playing against Peter Walters.
Yeah. It was Pete that I organised it with, because he coached us in 2022 for the Euros, and then he's come here a few times to do coaching sessions and stuff on that. So
how do you find Peter? I met him for the first time the last time that I had a training camp in China. He was over there running a clinic with the senior mixed side. And anyone else that wanted to come, then I sort of was on the next field with the mixed opens. But What did you think of Pete? How did he go with his coaching?
I'd love the man. He's so humble. It's like
Yeah.
I first met him when I came up and talked to him at Capital Cup in probably 2017, I think it was roughly, and we just stayed in contact. And yeah, he's come over and done 3 coaching clinics, and then he's stayed with me, so just get to talk touch. As soon as he finishes, he breathes touch and everything. And yeah, he called me his white son at one point, so that was pretty special. But yeah, he's so humble and just advise people go up and talk to him. He's happy to talk touch 24 hours a day.
Yeah, he is.
I went back to New Zealand. Was it 2 years ago? And he saw that and he rang me up, and I was staying in Auckland. He's, "I'll come pick you up. We'll go have lunch, and then I've got 3 games of touch." And I was just sitting there having lunch with him, thinking, like, I'm having lunch with Pete. I'm about to go play 3 games of touch with him. It's just, yeah, he's so humble, but he's so well mannered and just caring. So yeah, I advise people to go up and say hi to him.
Absolutely, and he's more than happy to share any ounce of knowledge that he has. That's a good thing that I like about touch footy. Coaches especially, there's no one that's going to keep any secrets. If you ask questions about the game, the only time I've ever come across people that are keeping secrets is if they're in the process of trying to innovate something for a tournament that's coming up. Then they probably don't want to share anything too early. But yeah, any questions that I've ever had to coaches, I've gotten really good answers, and it's just always been like that, which is amazing. So
I'm sure he didn't mind a trip around, do another couple of spots around the world as well. If anyone's looking at getting in Pete for a coaching session for a week somewhere in Europe or whatever, he likes a flight.
Yep, he sure does. And so when he was in China, I asked him if he was going back home after the weekend camp, because he also played in a Hong Kong international tournament, and he played men's open, and he still can run rings around a lot of players, even in his 50s. But he said he was going to, where is he going? Jersey. I think it was Jersey.
Yeah.
He was going after that. And I'd like, wow, okay. It seemed like a bit of a left field choice to visit a country, because the last time someone had ever mentioned Jersey to me, I was probably doing geography at school.
Yeah, it's a bit like that. And another story just popped in my head. I picked him up because he had like a 6-hour flight or something to Stockholm. And I picked him up from the train station, pulled up, and then I see this guy just doing press-ups against the side of a park bench with a backpack on, and it was Pete. I was like, "What are you doing?" He's like, "Oh, I was just waiting for you, bro." It's like, you just had a 6-hour flight. You're just sitting in the middle of like the busiest train station in Sweden, just doing press-ups against the bench. And he's in his 50s, and just he's a goat for a reason.
Yeah, that's right. I'm hoping to get him on this channel just to do one of these interviews. Not so much so we can talk about.
He has to do a reaction. He has to do a reaction video of your video you've done of him, of the flick pass.
Yes. The flick pass. I still remember the first time I saw that, because my parents played sort of in the same era, and I had a VHS copy of that game. So I remember seeing that when I was probably about 6, 7 years old, and even like back then, it just as a kid, seeing that, it was just like the coolest thing in the world. That flick pass.
He still talks it down as well. He's like, "Oh, it's just, I could see that guy coming in, dropped his shoulder, and I just went like that." So what do you mean you just went like that? It's not that easy. But
yeah, he said to me, he goes, and it was a really good point. He goes, "I've probably tried that. If I tried that 50 times, it worked twice."
Yeah, and that was one of them.
He goes, "Luckily, with a move like that, people only remember the time it worked." He goes, "But I remember the times it didn't." So also something like what I'd like to chat about is so we in Australia, where I'm from right now, like sitting in my house, I could travel to play social touch. So just in a group of friends, like right now I'm in a group of friends, we're calling the Boring Spuds. That's our team name. I can go 10 minutes that way and play touch it where what I call my home club. I could go 20 minutes that way and play at another club. I could go 25 minutes towards the ocean and play at another club, and then go this way probably half an hour to play at another one.
You definitely make me jealous.
Sorry, but the thing is, where I'm from, that's considered normal.
Yeah.
And people don't realize, unless like we've got like inland towns and stuff like that, but even there, it's probably like you've got your own association. You can travel an hour to go to another one. What's it like where you are if you wanted to go and play touch social? I know a couple of people that I've spoke to have talked about pickup touch, which I'd never heard of that concept before. I've heard of pickup, but never with touch.
Yeah, I get that. So it's like Stockholm's our main base. We've got the most players, and we only have one official touch club in Sweden, is the short answer. I moved from Stockholm to Karlstad in 2019, which is 3 hours inland, and I'm trying to build it up here so we actually have another touch team to play against, because that was the thinking, like if we have pickup games, because Swedes don't know what rugby is, any form of rugby, so you've got to explain. That was going to be my next question. Yeah, and it's just they're like, well, and they just think, oh, rugby, it's contact, it's tough. I was like, well, this is a more version, like kids can play mixed genders, there's no tackling, so you've literally got to start from the start. And then they're a bit worried about there's Aussies and Kiwis here that have been playing for 20, 30 years. There's 4 or 5 of us. And they've just, it's harder to get players in, but it's them seeing us playing the World Cup and seeing us playing in the Euros and that sort of stuff is definitely helping. We've got probably 80 players in Stockholm that started in 2015. And we've got 6 here in Karlstad. So,
okay.
It's a slow building step, but the boys in Stockholm, like Nick and that, they play Wednesday nights and Sunday mornings, and Wednesdays in summer, and Sundays wherever they can find a pitch that isn't covered in ice.
As well as in Karlstad, there's also a touch club starting in Uppsala, which is another town like an hour away from Stockholm. So in that sense, it's growing, but we do have an issue like Hamish said, of the Swedes not really understanding the different variations of rugby. So a lot of our players are expats or people that have lived overseas. So introducing it to a local audience is tricky. And we've got such a short season. We're laughing about the cold, but that just means all sort of ball sports are compressed into like the sunny months. So we're competing with like football and competing with rugby as well. So it's just getting like an audience is a bit tricky at times for us.
Would football or soccer, I'm guessing.
Soccer.
So, would that
I'm trying to be Swede.
No, would that be probably the main sport in Sweden?
It's fair to say. Yeah,
ice hockey, of course. Yes.
Yeah. When I explain to Swedes, it's like rugby in Australia and New Zealand is like football and ice hockey together here.
So, no, that's right. Ice hockey is. You go very well in ice hockey. I know that because I've seen the movie Miracle. And
pretty good.
They made a big drama about having a draw with Sweden, or there was a game against Sweden. I think they only just won or something like that. So,
they're pretty good at in ice hockey. They've got a lot of players in the NHL and that sort of thing. So,
as you can imagine, Australia aren't no good at ice hockey.
No, the Kiwis are actually much better either.
Where I'm from, we actually do have an ice hockey team though. Where I live, it's in Newcastle, the Newcastle North Stars. The guy that runs the team is French, and
really,
it's nothing like.
I remember
nothing like what I see on ESPN.
I remember watching them train at Macquarie Ice Rink. Actually, what hockey team it was, but they used to play out there.
When you lived in Australia, whereabouts were you based?
I was North Shore, so not quite Northern Beach, but North Shore.
Yeah, okay. Oh, awesome. Well, so Euro champs, going back to that, did Sweden get many games on the live stream?
For the English one, we had a fair few. Like as I said, they run it well. They had cameras on most fields. So
okay, cool.
Yeah, so if you go back to the 22 one. Yeah.
Just thinking in regards to like trying to build up sort of a player base, especially where you are, Hamish. Do you think like
definitely showed them love seeing that? That's
And do you think being on the live stream, if there was one field televised or streamed or whatever at the World Cup, would that be something that really would help?
Yeah, I've definitely used it as like I've sent it to people. I was like, oh, this is our game against Belgium. This is our game against England. And I think there was one other game we had live streamed. And it's also good for us as well and to show other guys. You know, that we can't employ people to video our games and stuff. So you can also, you know, go back and watch it and cringe at your own defensive choices or whatever it is be. But yeah, it's definitely a good thing. And yeah, from the last Euros there, they had at least 2 fields streamed last from memory. So yeah, they're pretty onto it with that. They had a bit of issue in Vichy with reception and getting streaming and that sort of done, but
yeah, okay.
It's definitely worthwhile.
So when you say you don't have enough funding to obviously employ someone to film your game, have you ever heard of the camera VEO or the product VEO? VEO?
Is that the tracking? Yeah. We actually have one of our colleagues works for a company that uses that equipment. So we do have sort of some access to that.
Yeah, because this has only come recently in Australia. We remember hearing about it, and then you'd see 1 or 2, and next thing you know, if we play 10 games on a weekend, 8 of them are probably going to have one of these big green or skinny green cameras filming it. So everyone's got them these days, and they're really helpful. Like if I filmed it, I could send it. You just log into an app on your phone, and then I can upload it onto that and share it everywhere very easy. So I'll put a link to the VEO in the description to this video on YouTube, but I can send it to you as well if you're interested. As far as I know, they're pretty affordable. My local club, we have one, and we just when we go to a tournament, each team will get at least one game filmed.
It's a big thing.
It just tracks you don't have to do anything. It just tracks the movement of the game, and then it just follows it.
I think because the tournament the tournament next weekend, Ryan is hoping to have it streamed. It should be streamed. So the games we're playing the Swiss will be and people can buy that, and that kind of, you know, covers him a little bit for his time and effort.
I look forward to a game analysis, Tom.
I'm just writing it down. Actually, will it be streamed to YouTube? Sweden versus Switzerland.
Commentated by Pete and Tom. Oh God, then that's what really.
Commentator. It'd be cool to get Pete to do one of my game analysis as well, like just getting his voice on it or something like that.
Make that happen.
Yeah. So as far as the World Cup goes, now just circling back to the World Cup, you did touch on it, but goals for Sweden touch or the 30s or the 40s in particular, do you have any set goals that you'd like to work towards at the World Cup?
It's having all 16 survive. We've scraped through with 16 players. I
totally understand an over 30s division, that being a goal. The last tournament I played in over 30s, it was a disaster. 5 minutes in, ankle, and then a calf, and then a shoulder.
It's the carcasses aren't what they used to be, are they?
No.
But the thing is, we've got 15 and a half because one of the guys can't get there till the Thursday, and just things like that. That's the issue and that sort of stuff. But Sweden touch, it is what it is. We've got to make it work. There's a guy flying over from New Zealand that played with us in 2018 to play. There's a guy that's in Kuwait. So he lived in Sweden, but he's just he's there at the moment for work. And then we've got a South African that is sweating very much on his visa if he can make it.
Yeah.
So, and all these sort of things that make it a little bit of a juggling act. But yeah, as I said, like 2-3 wins would be epic. And not having 30 put on us by Australia would be Nice. Uh, but I remember that when we played in 2022, like when we scored, we lost. Our first game was against France, and it was like 12-1, but we scored last. And just that feeling of us scoring against France, that was
and
cool.
You take the scoring into the end of the game, and that
it's definitely last wins. Yeah,
100%.
Obviously, and Sweden Touch is used before Nick was run by a guy named Antoine Kubasami, who was also the captain of the French 30s. So we played him as our first game. It was the chairman of Touch Sweden and our first opposition at 2022. So it's
would have been bittersweet for him.
Yeah, exactly. He did a couple of hard touches, but we got them back. So. But a couple of wins, everyone survived, and just like that week together is awesome. You're a family afterwards.
Yeah, no, that's really cool. But I totally understand about the visas thing. We've had a couple of our Chinese players knocked back on the visas. Yeah, they couldn't get them, so we've had to make some replacements, which has been unfortunate. But they're only young. They're uni students, so hopefully they'll be still playing touch in the next World Cup.
Yeah, in New Zealand.
What about you, Nick? Any goals, or sort of similar to what
Hamish said? It's in line, I guess, with what Hamish said. Keep healthy, win some games would be nice. We've got also a few new players this time around, and I certainly remember my first game against an international opposition, which was the game that Hamish mentioned against France in the 22 Euros. It's an eye-opener, so we just want to help those guys get into the game, implement our game plan, and have a successful match as possible. So that's, I guess, our tournament will be about building and getting these guys playing well at this level. It's something else to play against good opposition.
And if they have a good experience, they might, if they tell 5 people each, that could hopefully
100%
branch off and word of mouth get around.
Yeah, we want all our international players to be ambassadors for the game. We're a small community, so the more people we have getting out there, the better.
Because we have a sport, and it's not big at all in a sport. It's getting bigger, but ultimate frisbee. Have you ever heard of ultimate frisbee?
Pretty big here.
Yeah.
It is.
It's not pretty big, but it's here as well.
It's not really big. Here. So I had a friend that I went to school with who wasn't a sporting person at all. And I hadn't spoke to him since we finished school, but somehow I found out that he has represented Australia at ultimate frisbee. So he's gone to the World Cup of ultimate frisbee. And I'd played it in school, but I'd never even knew it was a thing. So playing in a World Cup can get the word out.
Yeah, very much so. We used to remember the old day, Nick. We used to fight off ultimate frisbee for that one good field.
Yeah, that's what I was just thinking. We used to come and try to take our Sunday field, so we had to get there nice and early to set up the cones.
I can imagine playing ultimate frisbee in Sweden in winter and it hit your fingers.
Yeah,
it'd be like steel. All right, so you talk about it.
What are you expecting from your team?
My team
on you.
To be competitive. So we played in a international tournament. Well, it was kind of international. It was an open invitation to social clubs, state clubs, national clubs at Hong Kong. And so Hong Kong, Singapore, Taipei, they sent their World Cup teams. And then there was some other, like Peter Walters put in just an all-stars team in the men's. We actually won that, but it was a very scrappy win because there was a bit of drizzle of rain and the grand final had just turned into a drop ball-a-thon because of how wet it was. And when it was on synthetic grass as well, so everyone was slipping over. But we did win. And if we can string together a performance like a couple of the games that we played in that tournament, I'll be very happy regardless of what the score is, because we've got some Kiwis in the team as well. I think we've got 4.
Good. And did you say that? So it was a mixed open? You said that was
mixed open. Yeah, we've got and the senior mixed side. So, and our senior mixed side is actually, if you've ever seen me talking to the other guy that's normally on these chats, he's coaching the senior mixed. So,
okay, excellent.
Yeah. So that's very exciting for China, and so the Kiwi players are the older ones, and all of the Chinese players, apart from maybe two, they're all real young, like uni students. So they're kind of getting mentored by the Kiwis as well, which is good.
Told where to run. Yeah.
Yeah. So game analysis you just spoke about before, is that some, like, we call it like satellite coaching. Do you think that Sweden Touch would like more access to that from, say, Australia, New Zealand, I guess what you call your tier one nations, England, and to a degree France? Because I know, like we spoke about before, about how coaches are willing to share their knowledge. I think it's more of a case of so many coaches that I know that are more elite coaches than I am have probably no idea that nations like Sweden are trying to promote touch football as much as you are. Is there something that we can work on to get some satellite coaching done and some analysis on specific games that you've played in for the future, and not so much just relying on the random stuff that might go like on my channel or someone else's channel?
Yeah, absolutely.
But I find those game analysis incredibly useful in structuring how I play.
Oh, that's good.
So, they are useful. But yeah, having something more personal of games we've played would certainly be helpful as well.
Yeah. So I've said it to I said it to Thailand as well, and like we can definitely, like, if you've needed help and you emailed me, I could send a message out to some people, and can guarantee you someone will be like, yeah, I'll help out Sweden. It's something new. It's different, and it'd probably be very rewarding for a lot of coaches around here to help out. Because like even like I coach under 20s in my local comp, and our men's open coach came to me, and when he found out I was coaching China, and he's like, I didn't even know we could do that. I should have put my name out there to get involved with an international team. And I said, you should have. Like, I got into it by chance. So yeah, we can definitely sort out some satellite coaching. It'd be sort of the exact same mindset as me. I'd just probably ask just anyone from Newcastle, Sydney area.
Yeah, absolutely. And that was kind of our thinking with Pete, a little bit like get him here to kind of show us firsthand, and then we kind of hand on the knowledge further on. And then it's also like we've sent videos and that sort of thing to him to critique and that. So, and a few times I've had a few people, Tom at touchscreen, I watched this video and he did this here and he ran there and he said that there. And I was like, oh yeah, okay. I have no idea what you mean, but yeah, watch the video.
And the thing with
I think it was the arrow probably wasn't correct.
Oh shit! Arrows are terrible. Yeah, this pen. This is. I got a new pen actually. This is my old pen. That's my new pen. It's a lot smaller, and hopefully it fixes that.
You need to sharpen it. That's the problem.
Yeah, sharpen. It's not a. It's a touch screen. And let's put that in a sharpener or wreck it. But yes, I joked about actually making a video, like a compilation of all my crappy arrows. And it's just me going, because I just do one take. No matter what happens, I don't start it again. Like I was talking to, I think it was Thailand. Whatever it was. It was Samoa. I was talking to Samoa, and it was really early in the morning here. And my daughter walked in, and she just sat on my lap. So for a few minutes, I had my daughter here. So I was like, well, that's she's in the video now.
Let's just roll with it. Yeah, exactly.
Yep. And that's just what I do. Otherwise, if I kept trying to be like pedantic with what I was doing, they'd just take forever to make. So, and I'd be uploading once every 6-7 weeks. So get it out quickly. It doesn't have to be perfect.
Gives you character. Yeah. But no, the videos I definitely appreciate over here. We do watch them for sure, like the players do, and we send them to your YouTube. So
cool. Well, I'll write down here the Sweden versus Switzerland. I'll definitely keep a lookout for that, and I'll check out the Euros again and see if I can see any Sweden games on there. I'm more than happy to just do an analysis on that, because the analysis ones probably don't take as much because the game's already there. Whereas if I'm looking for one specific move or defensive policy, I've got to go through so many games, and there it is. I'll bank that one. That's actually where just finding the footage is actually the most time-consuming part. So and Alice's games are there easy.
Okay. Yeah, I can send you a couple of things.
Yeah, beautiful. So lastly, I'm asking this to everyone. Do you have, so I'm guessing like watching YouTube, touching that, do you have, is there any players or teams that you really like watching or you consider your favorite player or someone that you'd like to meet at the World Cup?
Well, ironically, you mentioned Doyleson.
Yep.
I think they're phenomenal to watch. So it's good you mentioned them.
They certainly are. I played against Doyleson the first year that they got their group of players that they had together and they were going to start taking it seriously. Was, I think, the last year I played men's before I moved to mixed, and I got to play one game against Laurenson, and I've never been made look so silly in defence in the midfield than defending Doyleson. It was just insane. And we knew, like the team that I was playing for, we knew that they were going to be one of the best, and they have been, like they haven't lost at our state tournaments. They haven't lost a round game since they started. They've never been beaten in a round game.
I guess it's one of the things that's most impressive. It's like over a number of years they've managed to be like that. So it's pretty cool when
Yeah, and the men's 30s will have two of the Doyleson players in it. It will have Jake Fitzpatrick and Luke Simmons, who are long-term Doyleson players, and they're playing men's 30s. And the coach is also the Doyleson coach. So it'll be like playing. It'll be like playing.
So good luck, Hamish. Good luck.
Yeah, good luck. I'll say hi when they're running past me, or like, doing a quickie on my inside. I'm like, oh yeah, this is what you mean. By the tempo. No, but yeah, I'm gonna definitely watch Dylan Hennessy up close. And are the Bob brothers coming? They must be in the Open as well, wouldn't they?
Oh, surely. I think the younger one, Jamin, is playing men's. No, sorry, the younger one, Jardel, is playing men's, and I think Jamin is playing mixed.
Yeah.
So they're there. They're both there, but they're not playing. I think one of them's in mixed, one of them's in men's. But it's funny because as of recent, I think Jamin has been outperforming Jardel, which everyone thought, Jardel's going to come and outshine his brother, which he did for a little bit. But now Jamin, I think, is actually sort of the alpha of the brothers at the moment. We just had a Indigenous versus Maori game at the start of the year, and Jamin was just phenomenal in it.
Yeah, I watched that game.
It was in the pouring rain.
Also, as a league tragic, it'll be quite cool to see Steve Menzies play for the 50s.
Yeah,
that's him.
Yeah, so we have Steve Menzies. It is Steve Menzies. He just he's actually quite good. And the thing in his favor is he never stopped training. He's still really fit.
Okay.
Andrew Ryan, I don't know if you follow the NRL ones.
As well.
No, but he did have a couple of years once he turned 40, he started playing 40s, and just based on fitness, like he didn't have a lot of game sort of sense, but he was just so super fit that that just made him a really good player. Like Paul Gallen, he played his first state cup last year, did his hemi in the first game, so he played on the wing for the rest of it. So unfortunate for him.
Yeah, but, Prince and stuff.
Yeah, and it's like
also place to watch. I think that Kiwi guy, E4 Jones. Am I saying that correctly? There's a Kiwi mid in the Opens.
Who was that? Sorry,
E4 Jones or something like that.
I'd have to find out. I don't actually know too many of the Kiwi players.
Yeah, he's got an awesome step, and he's very evasive.
Yeah, okay.
They all do.
Yeah, that's true. I've always said, and I say this often, that the Kiwi style is so much more entertaining to watch than the Australian style.
Yeah.
The Australian style is
really interesting watching those two teams play in like the Trans-Tasman, like the completely different style. And the Kiwis are going to get them one day for sure.
They will get them one day. I don't know when that'll be. It could be at the World Cup. All I will say is that when I take my Australia hat off, I go for the underdogs. So in the NRL, I support the Newcastle Knights. If they're not playing and I'm watching a game, don't look at me like that. Speaking of which, we actually beat the Warriors last weekend, by the way.
Don't talk about
at this Hong Kong international tournament that I was at, was the first time the Knights played the Warriors. And I said at the start of the day that if the Warriors won that game, I would yell up the Wars on camera, on camera, on the official photographer's camera, and the Warriors won, and I had to yell out up the Wars on the camera. So that was a bit embarrassing.
My 2-year-old daughter screamed it at the top of her lungs in the middle of IKEA 2 weeks ago. No one had a clue what was going on. I was in tears of laughter. She just screamed it in the middle of it.
I got a 2-year-old daughter as well, except she screams, "I want cereal." She's obsessed with cereal. Anyway, guys, I might have to be the party pooper and call it.
I've got to go get my speaking of 3 p.m. on a Friday here.
Oh yes, I got to go to bed because it's hitting 11 o'clock.
Oh, is it?
But yeah, that's totally fine.
You said you're from Newcastle. Whereabouts?
Just a little bit west of Newcastle in Maitland.
Okay, yeah. Because my folks, when they moved out of Sydney, they went up to where'd they go? The south, at the bottom of the lake, anyway. I forget now, but they went up to the bottom of the lake.
Probably near Doyleson.
Yeah, right near Doyleson, coincidentally, yeah.
But anyway, guys, I just want to say thank you very much for coming on the channel. It was really nice chatting with you. I'll definitely catch up with you at the World Cup. We'll be walking around with these, and whether or not we can chat to you or we can, Hamish, we can give you the mic and you can go and talk to the team and I can just film it. We'll get plenty of content and I can put that up on the channel as well. So, but yeah, thanks again, guys. Hope you enjoyed the chat.
Yeah, very much so.
So you had me worried for a sec. That silence there.
Oh yeah. No, it was good. And anyone at the World Cup, welcome to come say hi to the Swedish team. We're not as unsociable as normal Swedes, so introduce yourselves and talk about.
Righto, guys. I'll see you at the World Cup. Thanks again, and don't forget to subscribe.
Good luck with the preparation.
Smash that like button. See you guys.